Hello and welcome to our latest Business Spotlight interview. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Peter McKearney of PMK Electrical. Hello, Peter.
Hey, let's go.
Great, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Appreciate you joining us today. Look, why don't you share with us who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for?
So my name is Peter McKearney, and I am the managing director of PMK Electrical, based in Dungannon, County Tyrone. I joined the business after my A levels in St Patrick's Academy in Dungannon. Joined the family business. At that stage, we were a small to medium-sized electrical contractors base, mostly within Mid Ulster, Tyrone, South Tyrone area, with some works in Dublin. I progressed then through various craft apprenticeships and foundation degrees, and made my way up through the company in estimating and contracts management and control and automation, control panel building, and working way up through the various levels. And now the managing director. We operate out of a number of bases in UK and Ireland, focusing
Excellent.
on large industrial electrical installations, pharmaceutical plants, manufacturing plants, student accommodation, schools, hospitals, that type of work, for a very client base.
Excellent.
Further
That's
afield.
that's great, Peter. It sounds like a real success story. Really, really inspiring. So you're talking a wee bit there about your customer base. What's an ideal customer for you?
An ideal customer is a customer. Our sweet spot would be our design and build work, where we are engaging with a client, for example, a factory owner of food, or maybe byproduct rendering or cement or any product. We have a lot of experience in various sectors. So what we'll do is we'll sit down with the client early doors, instead of involving. We'll be part of the design team. So we'll sit down with the client at the start and try and understand what they're building, how they're building it, what their end goal is, and what they're trying to achieve. And then what we'll go back and look at is how we can design the electrical systems around their product, around their site, around the particular challenges of what they encounter day to day, and try and work the electrical systems into a budget, into a time frame, and into ultimately a workable solution for the client. We find there, when we can understand what the client wants to achieve, we can achieve better results, because
Sure.
whenever our staff and our team that's on the ground have an intrinsic understanding of what the client wants to achieve, we believe that the end result's far better.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Makes sense. So what inspired you to join the family business then?
Basically, my father really. Father worked very, very hard to get the business where it's at. A lot of knocks, a lot of school of hard knocks, and
Yeah.
I was seeing that growing up. Riding the company vans, company vehicles. It's the company initials is his initials.
Yeah.
So really didn't want to let it all go down the pan by selling it on or moving it on. So I joined the business and really took it from sort of augment where he started off, and
Very good.
that's why I joined the business. Really, I had plenty of other options at the time, and throughout my apprenticeship, I had other options to go here, there, and everywhere. But
Yeah.
really just to try and continue on what he started, because there was a lot of hard work put in to get where it's at.
Excellent. Yeah. I don't think anything comes easy. It's
No.
everybody knows there's a lot of hard work involved, especially running your own business and family business. So
Running your
what
own
were some
business
of
and
this?
running your own business within Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is it's a basket case. We work across multiple sectors,
Yeah.
in the Republic of Ireland, multiple sectors in Scotland, and the central belt of England. And
Yes. Yeah.
we live in an economy that is not like any other parts of the UK or Ireland. We have a stagnated economy because of stagnated stormont. We have
Yeah.
massive underspend in infrastructure, roads, water, schools, hospitals, and compare that to other parts of Ireland, where there's a budget surplus and there's projects starting all over the place in every town and city. You compare that to Scotland, where devolution's working. You compare it to Wales, where devolution's working, and we live in an economy that is very, very heavily reliant on the private sector, and the private sector business is pushing things on, and they're being hamstrung. And a lot of small businesses, medium-sized business, and even large, like there's a lot of large businesses run out of Northern Ireland, and their work's not in Northern Ireland. The work's, a lot of companies in Northern Ireland they talk about punching above their weight, but a lot of companies from the north are doing exceptional work elsewhere. But the economy in the north wouldn't inspire you to start a business, put it like that.
Yeah, and would that have been, I guess, one of the biggest challenges you faced, not just when starting out, but right through, or were there any other, I guess, not macro influences on the business, but other challenges that you faced?
The biggest challenge that we have at the minute, and one of the biggest challenges we continue to face, is that we live on an island that has essentially, a two economy system. You have a lot of in our trades. There's a massive shortage of electricians. There's a massive shortage of skilled electricians on the island of Ireland and in the UK. But you've got a massive boom going on in Dublin, and you have guys that have no commitments, no ties, apprenticeships. Once they finish their apprenticeship, those guys are going and working in Dundalk, Drogheda, Southern Ireland, and getting almost double the wages that they would get if they worked in the north.
Yes,
that's a massive problem. And electricians from the north, especially with the training schemes that we used to have, electricians from the north would be very, very highly regarded across the British Isles and are in high demand. But because there's such a demand for skills tradespeople in mechanical, electrical, plumbing, air conditioning, joinery, carpentry, all the trades within the building sector, panel builders, control and automation engineers, there's a massive, but so to cut to the point, there's a massive brain drain.
Yeah.
In the north, and that's being the catalyst for that is a lack of functioning government. It really
That
really the reason. That's one of the biggest challenges. You go to, take somewhere comparative like Glasgow compared to Belfast. The amount of work that's going on in Glasgow, or take Leeds, the amount of work that's going on in Leeds, in the Northern Powerhouse, foreign direct investment for various companies, the British government redistributing wealth. That's not being seen in Belfast. It's not being seen in Derry. It's not being seen in Coleraine or Cookstown or Dungannon. And that's I think that's one of the biggest challenges a lot of businesses face. You're right. Where I'm from in Dungannon here, there's a massive crushing and screening sector.
Yes.
There's a very, very high percentage of all the crushing and screening equipment is made within 5 miles of Dungannon or South Tyrone. And you go to every roundabout, you go to every newspaper, they're all crying out looking skilled fitters, skilled welders, design engineers, mechanical design engineers, electrical design engineers, and there's still simply not the people to fill the roles, and that is the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and what do you think is going to draw people into actually that sort of training? Because I know up where I am, I'm sort of north of Belfast. A lot of the colleges, they just can't fill the classes even for those sorts of trades.
You have to be honest about the thing. If you are 17, 18, 19, 20, and you're looking at the news and you're looking at the political situation in the north, and you're a smart young fella or you're a smart young girl coming out of university, and you're weighing up your options, and you're looking to be where you're going to do your training, base your career.
Yeah.
Certainly if you watch any of the local news channels at night, it wouldn't, if you're a young person wanting to stay in Dungannon, it wouldn't inspire you.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of the problem, I think.
That's interesting, Peter. And then for yourself, in terms of like inspiration, do you have any sort of favorite quotes, books, or podcasts, or things that you go to for daily or weekly?
I've started listening to Joe Rowley's new podcast. It's called the Free State Podcast. Quite good. I listen to David McWilliams' podcast regularly as well. He's very good. Keeps you abreast on all the economic issues going on around the world and geopolitical stuff. And
Yes. Yeah.
Keeps you informed anyway. I do like some of the sports podcasts. You have to have a broad mind in business, because you have to, you talk to people from all over. You have to be
Sure.
able to have a wee bit of information about this or that, or conversation starter. So
Totally. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
you have to take an active interest in a lot of things, because you want to try and find some common ground with customers or key customers that maybe aren't involved in things that you're normally involved in.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, what's been the most surprising aspect of being the managing director of the family business?
Um, what's the most surprising? Nothing surprises you anymore, because you don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
I've sort of got to the point now where we've gone through price increases, massive price increases there
Oh,
with
huge.
Ukraine, the raw materials, obviously the COVID situation, an
Yeah.
unprecedented COVID situation,
Just escalated and escalated.
with staff, and it's escalated. And I think now your tolerance for um, surprises is so short, because you just do not know. During the COVID period, every day you were dealing with problems you never thought you would have to deal with, dealing with issues you never thought you'd have to deal with, dealing with situations that you thought you would never have to deal with. Um, nothing surprises me anymore about business, because you never know what obscure phone call you're going to get, or obscure
Yeah.
email you're going to get. You have to be prepared for every eventuality, because especially in a family business where you could be doing accounts one day with the guys, you go out site supervising some, looking after a site supervisor or doing an audit. The next day you're doing a tender. There's so many variables, and you have to juggle a lot of balls, and
Yeah. Sure.
never be. You always have to be prepared for the curveball that comes around the corner.
Sure. So on that then, Peter, what would have been your biggest learning?
Biggest learning would have been on the tools. Actually, on the
Okay.
tools.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
suppose from when I was about 18 to 25. Understanding how projects go together, the project. You don't you know all the As you get older, you understand the terminology behind it, but at the time you were being part of the project life cycle, the inception, the drawings, the
Sure.
actual cutting to work, the after sales, the dealing with the customer, the retaining the customer, uh, um, learning how that whole process works. It's just not something you can jump into and pick up overnight. I think that's a lesson for younger people, is that you just can't. Things just don't happen overnight. You have to be able to grind it out. You have to be able to deal with adversity. You have to be able to deal with the challenges that are around the corner. I think that's the biggest learning curve, is learning how to deal with things as they happen and not crumble whenever they do happen.
Sure.
That's You can learn all the technical. You can learn all the VAT, the PAYE, the HR functions. You can deal with all that, but what you can't deal with is adversity. You can't until you have adversity come your way. You can't plan for it.
Yeah.
It's how
Yeah.
you have tooled yourself up to deal with that.
It makes a lot of sense, Peter. So, if you were, I guess, giving advice to 17-year-old Peter, or if you're giving advice to anybody starting out now, what would that be?
Keep it small, keep it tight. Be very, very selective of who you work for. Be very, very careful about your profit margins. Don't sell yourself too short. Um, and get yourself in the right lane. Position yourself where you want to be, not where somebody else wants you to be, and try and point yourself in the right direction. And make sure you go into it with your eyes fully wide open. A lot of people start up on their own, and they don't realize about VAT and PAYE, and they don't realize about PRSA contributions or PAYE contributions, or they don't understand, and it might appear that they're making money. And time, the biggest thing is time. You can't buy time. And a
Sure.
lot of guys starting out at all trades, they probably think they can do it all themselves. They can think they can work 70, 80 hours a week. You can only do that for a short period of time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will catch up with you after a bit of time. So don't sell themselves short is the best advice I can give any of them. But
Great.
you have to get the foundation right. You have to get serve your apprenticeship, learn the hard way, grind it out, learn from the people around you, the good people around you, take the good advice, and be knowing what advice to take. Sometimes
Sure.
you have to be very selective on what advice you do take.
Yeah, totally. No, that's great advice, Peter. Look, really appreciate that. And where do you see your business in about 5 years' time?
5 years' time, we would like just to continue on the vein we're on. We have a good business stream, we have a good revenue stream. We would like to make sure that our next generation of staff come through, that our next contracts managers, our next supervisors, our next those guys are that are in the twilight of their career, and the guys in the start of the career. And we would like to see a better transition of people through the ranks.
Yeah.
We would, and to maintain the business, because you want to keep it fresh, you want to keep it moving. Certainly in terms of turnover, or we just want to try and maintain the turnover that we're at, and just try and keep profit margins healthy.
Good. Yeah, sounds great. Look, I really appreciate your time today and all the insights and the experience that you've brought to the Business Spotlight. And really appreciate your time. Wish you every success as you go forward.
No bother. Thank you.